Lo grabo. Se mira como un cuando se no, que no. ¿Y dónde están las patas? ¿Cómo se llaman las bocas del pájaro?
¿Las qué?
Las bocas del pájaro.
Oh, un pico? Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys this cool little geography lesson that I did with my students. All the resources that you're going to need, the PowerPoint that goes along with this, is going to be found in the description of the video down below. Now, when I first heard about this lesson from Mr. Rowan, honestly, I didn't think it was very good, right? I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. But as he explained it a little more to me, I tried it out with my students and it went very, very well. So when I explain it to you, you might think, it's super simple. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I don't think the kids are gonna enjoy it. But trust me, they get way into it. It's really weird. You really gotta try it out. So essentially what you gotta do, or what the students have to do, is they have to imagine that the continents are clouds in the sky, and they gotta try to figure out what they can see in the shapes of the continents, right? So, maybe, I don't know, like, the very simple one is Italy looks like a boot, right? Or the southern part of Europe looks like a boot. So that's what they have to do. They look at the continents and try to see what animals, what cartoon characters, what things they can see in the shapes of the continents, right? Now, I added an extra layer to it, which is completely not necessary. I just did it because I thought it was kind of cool. So I just put black lights, right, since I have black lights already. And I made the continents and colored them in with neon colors, and they went around first to each of the continents, to each of the stations, and try to see what objects, things, people, whatever they can find, shapes in of the continents, right? Again, not necessary at all, right? You can just use the PowerPoint and do it, slide by slide, continent by continent. So again, the kids get really, really into it, right? So they might be like, oh, this top part of Europe looks like a horse. So that's a common one that I hear from the students. They'll say things like, the eastern part here of Africa looks like Mickey Mouse's snout. And they find the weirdest things in the shapes of the continents, and again, they get really, really into it. They really, really like. So I have the students come up to the front, so they're like, I want to share one. They come up to the front and then they point to where they see that thing. They're like, here is where Mickey Mouse's snout is. And the rest of the students kind of take a look, and it takes them a while, and then they're like, and then they start realizing, yeah, I see it too. And again, they get way into it because they're trying to find, what their partner, or not their partner, their classmate is talking about, right? So they get really, really into it. So it's very simple. Like I said, through the PowerPoint is even more simple. So they basically, you just give them a couple minutes to write down on their paper what they see in Europe, what shapes, what objects they see in Europe. They write it down on their paper, and then they share, right? They come up to the front and they point to where that thing is on the map, right? And then the other students take a moment to try to see if they can see it too, right? If they can say, I can see it too. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it does look like a witch, or this does look like a horse, or whatever they find in the shapes, right? So at the very end, there's a little quiz. So you just show them the outline, the shape of the continent, and then they have to just shout it out, right? And you're gonna be surprised, like, they really remember the outlines, the shapes of the continents because of all those connections they made, right? So it's a very simple, easy way to expose them to the continents, right? Obviously, it's not just a one and done and that's it, they're gonna memorize now all the different continents, no, right? But it's a good way to expose them to it and to start to build some sort of framework in their mind of how the different continents look. And this is a short little thing that you can do. I use it as a brain break usually as well when I'm doing a lecture or what have you. When we start a new unit, right, we start the Roman Empire, show them the outline of the Roman Empire, and they imagine, again, same thing as if it were a cloud, and what things they see in the continent, right? So it's very simple, but very, very fun activity that you can do with your students.